Good morning. My name is Amy Gill, your pharmacist that cares. I want to talk about a topic today that I think touches a lot of us in one way or another, whether it's us or somebody we know that is very close to us. And it is living paycheck to paycheck. You turn on the news, you go to the store, you see people that are having to put things back because they just can't afford it. When it comes up at the register and they see how much it is, they're like, take that off, take that off. I'm sure you've all seen that, or maybe that's been you. And I had some statistics. Boy, that's a hard word to say, isn't it? That I got from Forbes and payroll.org that really just blew my mind. That almost one in four U.S. adult American, yeah, of course, U.S. adult Americans, that's the same thing. U.S. adults have no emergency savings at all. 1 in 4, you guys. That's almost 25%. If some emergency happened, they would have no way to pay for it without getting that credit card out. And is the credit card maxed? That's a big problem as well. So what are they going to do? So 78% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck. 78%, you guys. That is over 3/4 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. And when I looked at a 2023 survey about savings, about 33% of the population have $100 or less in their savings account. Okay, what emergency is going to cost you $100? You guys know good and well, even calling the person to show up is going to cost you more than $100. You guys know that service call always is more than that, right? And it's about that per hour, depending on what your problem is. So what are these people going to do? And only a little over 12% of the population have up to $500 in savings. Again, that's not going to cover some big emergency at all. And then they actually broke it down a little bit more, which I found quite interesting. So the population ages 45 to 54, they're the ones that are really in the worst shape. And they have 45% of that population has less than $100. But if you think about that population, right, they're the ones that are going to have children that are somewhat grown, right? They're trying to help fund college, fund school, all those expensive things, sports, right? Where the younger generation, most of those people are just taking care of themselves with their paycheck. But, as they get a little bit older, there's a lot more responsibility. And some of those people are trying to prepare for retirement, but that might not be there if you don't have that in savings. And then, now this was interesting, ages 55 to 64 have approximately $10,000 in savings. So that's the age that's like starting to retire, right? So now the kids are probably out of the house, they're on their own, and they're starting to save. But at that time, what is $10,000 in savings going to do for you if you want to retire? It's barely going to cover your health care, your house, your utilities, all those kind of costs. What if you want a new car? It's not going to cover that. And then when you look at the retirement age, people over 65, they only have $2,000 to $5,000 in savings. That's barely going to cover their prescription costs when they come in, depending on what they're on. I see that all the time. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month people are spending just on prescriptions at that age level. So what are people really going to do? And women actually have less in their savings. I don't know. I didn't really give much of a reason for that. I don't know if they're trying to, I don't know, either we spend more or we're trying to pay off loans. It didn't really give statistic. I was trying to find a little bit more about the credit card as well. But what are people going to do? And this really hit me 2 days ago. And this is kind of why I want to talk about this topic. So when I had to go into the store because I had to do some CBLs, which are computer-based learning. I have to do those every once in a while just to keep up on things going on. So I was sitting there on the computer, and it was like in the workspace. And another associate came in, and he said, "Would it bother you if I do something on the phone?" I said, "No, I'm just doing that, right?" So he had it turned up so he could like on speaker so he could hear it while he was dialing things in. And I was familiar as soon as I heard the voice, the automated voice talking, and it was the insurance part of it. And he was calling to see how much he owed to keep his insurance up to date. And he owed $36 to keep it up to date. And like the next option is, hit 1, to pay the full amount, hit 2 to pay more, hit 3 to change the amount. You guys have heard these things. You know how this is, whether it's a credit card you're paying or what. And of course, I don't know what option he hit because I couldn't tell. I'm just, I'm sitting there quietly trying to do my computer. And then I heard the voice come back on, and it said wanted him to confirm that he was paying $8. $8, you guys. That's all he had. He did not have the $36 to cover what he needed to do on his insurance. $8. And I know he was going to get paid. What did it say? Today's Thursday. So he will get paid today. But where's that money going to go into paycheck, right? What if he can't even still pay the rest of his insurance? He's got other bills, I'm sure, right? Electricity, water, phone, obviously, right? What are those people going to do? And it really I think it was just because of the amount is really why I started thinking about this. And that's why I started looking into this. So how does this all relate to health and wellness, right? How can you truly worry about health if you're so concerned about this living paycheck to paycheck, right? You're under this constant stress. You're not worried about eating well. You're just worried about what can I afford to eat, right? And a lot of those things do come from boxes. They're cheaper a lot of times to make than, buying fresh fruits and vegetables unless you grow them yourself. Those are the options. So, and the stress alone causes a lot of health issues. And then what's going to happen? They're going to need prescriptions of some sort, and they can't afford them because they're not even up to date on their insurance. So this just really got me thinking about planning, budgeting. What are people doing to prepare for the next day and the next day and the next day? These people can't even think about saving anything for retirement because they can't even cover what they need the next day or the next week. So I would love to have a conversation with those people that you know that are this way. A lot of people you might not even realize are, because most people will not come out and say that they're struggling. You'll just look for signs of that. Maybe it's you. And I would love to have a conversation, even just a 5 or 10 minute conversation about what I've done to help work on our savings, to work for the boys, to be able to do those things that when the emergency happens, that we know we're going to be okay, or at least I've got a way that I know we'll make it through this, because so many people have no idea where to turn or what they are going to do. And like I said, if there are 78% of Americans out there living paycheck to paycheck, I am sure I'm talking to one of you, or somebody that this is going to affect. And I would love to have that conversation. Let's talk about what we do. Let's talk about that before it starts truly affecting their health. Because once you start going down that path, it's like that snowball rolling down the hill. It's really, really hard to stop it as it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and their debt is getting bigger and bigger, and their health problems are just growing, all because of this. So please reach out to me sooner than later, and I would love to chat with you or anyone that you know that this is affecting. My name is Amy Gill, your pharmacist that cares.